Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the November 8th Board of Selectmen meeting. We actually opened an open session at 6:30 p.m. We went into executive session at 6:31 p.m. for reason number 3. And we came out of executive session at about 6:58 or something like that. We are all present. We've done the roll call, and I'll have Ms. Nichols lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we begin the meeting, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Francis McWilliams, who died this week. Tui was the husband of the first female selectman in the town of Wareham, Claire McWilliams. They had no children, but they had been involved in many, many civic affairs over the years. So I'd ask for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. And I want to just point out that Mr. Barrows is not here, so I hope that he's feeling okay. Announcements, Mr. Slavin.
Wareham Garden Club, Wareham Historical Society, Saturday the 12th, 9 to 2. There'll be a crafts fair at the Meeting House at 495 Main Street and holiday arrangements at the Faring Tavern. Admission is $5. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Scasiotti?
I'm good tonight.
Mr. Titlebaum?
Some library things here. The Friends of the Library are holding a jewelry and accessory sale this month at the main library. The hours are Thursday, November 17th from 4 p.m. to 6:45 p.m., Friday, November 18th from noon till 5 p.m., Saturday, November 19th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. There was also a quilt raffle ongoing. We had that in here last week. Tickets are $5, and the winner will be drawn at the end of the holiday fair. The holiday fair takes place at the main library on Saturday, December 3rd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The fair includes homemade cookies, high-quality used books, gifts, and craft vendors. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Looking for citizens' participation, and can I have a volunteer? Mrs. Dunham, do you want to speak briefly, or are you in jet lag? Thank you. 2 minutes. Thank you. We have an appointment for cemetery commissioner. The cemetery commissioners, there are 2 of them serving at the moment. There's 1 vacancy. They individually have told me that they recommend the appointment of Mr. Jack Silva. So I would accept a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'm looking for the paperwork here. Here we go. It's out of order.
For a date to
To return to expire no later than June 30th, 2019.
motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, and is unanimous. Thank you. Ms. Dunham, welcome back. When did you get back?
Saturday night, 6:15, pulled in from Tokyo to Boston. I bring you greetings from the people of Kushimoto, Japan. They send you all their wishes, their best wishes for peace and prosperity to all of you. I have brought back gifts for the department heads and for yourselves as well. So I will wait for you to let me know at your convenience when I can meet with you. I want to tell you that the challenge coins were a tremendous success, and I am returning to you a challenge coin that I'm bringing back to each of you as well, made in Kushimoto, as a memento of that historic event commemorating the 225th anniversary of Captain Kendrick arriving in Japanese waters to attempt trade. So pretty much the trip was a huge success. I was in good company. I was treated like a rock star. Japan is a beautiful country, and I cannot thank each and every one of you enough for the support that you gave me before I left. So I look forward to meeting with you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, and
You're
welcome back.
Thank you. Sorry? Oh. Hmm? Okay.
Items B and C are not on the agenda under 10 any longer. And I am going to ask Ms. Nichols to slowly approach the chair so that we can have a 7:15 hearing. I know it's 1 minute before that, but depending on whose clock you're on.
Can we get through the Bay Point thing first?
It's
No.
7:14. Way too fast.
7:14.
That clock's wrong.
No, it doesn't take very long. Yeah, I have 7:15 too, so.
I have 2 copies of form that you need to sign.
Thank you.
One for you guys to sign and keep with your records, one to give back to me
Okay,
that I can append and send up to DOR
okay,
after you do that.
okay, yep.
7:15, right?
It is 7:15. We're going to have, may I have a motion to open the hearing on the tax levy?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote? Roll call vote?
Titlebaum, yes.
Whiteside, yes?
Tropiano, yes.
Scasiotti, yes.
Allen, yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. Has everybody received the packet that I,
That's in here.
A while ago.
Chris?
Yes.
Yes.
Derek, did you get one? Yeah. Okay, just checking. Mr. Bowen? Do you need one? Okay.
You want one?
We had a few words.
All right, I'm going to be short and sweet with this. Very similar to last year. I've put together some numbers to kind of show you guys where we are in relation to the so-called 80-20 split that people have a tendency to shoot for. The purpose of the hearing is to determine whether the town will continue to utilize a single tax rate for all classes of property or to split the rate, shifting the burden towards the commercial, industrial, and personal property from the residential class. I want to say that all the values and conclusions are based on the values that we do have approval from the BLS for. We are certified for the year, the interim year. And the vote this evening will stand based on our current information, which once we get all the votes and we get everything into the recap and submit to DLS, we'll get our DOR, we'll get our final okay. But the tax rate is estimated to be $11.25, which is down from $11.36 last year. The town of Wareham is currently divided as follows. For fiscal year 2017, the residential ratio is 82.05%, and the CIP ratio is 17.94. I gave you a little bit of history here. Last year, we were 81.6 for the residential and 18.4. So we're actually gone a little bit, our residential is a little bit higher this year. We're kind of, waving along. And that has to do with the difference. We've had some big commercial growth last year, which we didn't have this year. So it will keep going, and as long as it keeps going up, we're going in the right direction on both ways. I also, on page 2 of your packet, I did a short chart of how a shift in the tax rates would affect an average home here. Our actual average residential has gone up to $249,000. I believe it was something like $235,000 last year. And the commercial was like 616 last year, and now it's up to 649, and that's an average, the both. But as you can see from the chart, right now, to shift the residential to the commercial right now is not saving the residential very much, and it is taxing the commercial very highly. So, are there any questions on the chart or the packet or anything that I gave you?
No, thank you.
Ask for input, it's a hearing, right?
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on the tax levy,
Tax classification.
tax classification?
Who would
Seeing
close the
none.
hearing?
And second to close the hearing? Yes.
Yes.
All those in favor of closing the hearing?
Titlebaum, yes.
Whiteside, yes.
Tropiano, yes.
Scasiotti, yes.
Alan, yes.
Meeting, the hearing is closed.
Go ahead, Peter.
Now,
Just need a motion to set the residential factor
At one.
at 1.
Yes, second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining. We're going to sign this, and I'm going to ask that Mr. Bowen ask us if it's our free will indeed, because he's a notary, right? So that should, no? You're not? Oh.
No.
Are
I
you?
can certify it as correct.
Okay, all right. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
May I ask a question while you're waiting for our signatures? Have you, it was a question I asked Mr. Sullivan earlier, and he obviously wasn't at liberty to say, but,
Yes,
Um,
I voted.
no, I didn't
Oh,
want to.
no, that wasn't it, okay.
Did you do the Curley vote? James Michael Curley vote?
No.
That's regularly, frequently, and often at every precinct that you can find. Have you found any major hidden houses or hidden, bathrooms or in-laws apartments or, whatever, blah, blah, blah?
We just actually suspended our first summer of measure and listing, which I'm glad you brought that up, actually, was a resounding success. In between all of the 3 data collectors that were in the field, plus Steve Curry doing callbacks, we had an entry rate of 31%, which is very good. And people have been very receptive and very helpful. And we are going to pick it up again next March or April with a hopefully bigger staff that will also help us offer some Saturday hours so that we can get some of the weekenders and so forth.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as what we found, we've picked up some growth through it, but we haven't found any like wings on houses that were unpermitted. We did find renovations that were unpermitted or stuff
Mhm.
like that, but some of them have been around for quite some time.
Mhm.
But I think we're really, with Steve in the assistant position and myself being here for a few years now, have got processes down so that we're catching a lot more of this stuff and getting out to as many properties
Great.
as possible.
Thank you very much. Mr. Titlebaum, you all set? Not quite.
No, I've got to fill this stuff out, so if you want to start the next
Okay.
item, and then I can
I'm
hand it to
gonna-
Jackie when I'm done.
Yes, please. Licenses and permits, we have none, but town business discussion and possible vote on Bay Point request for waiver of rights of first refusal for A&R lots. Mr. Bowen or Mr. Sullivan? Or Mr. Fay, would you like to step forward? Have a seat? And introduce yourself to the millions of us waiting for the final vote. No.
Good evening. Tim Fay, owner of the Bay Point Club.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Do we have any paperwork on it? It's in the packet. Is it? Agreement. Hold on. Let me see what's in here, because I didn't see it. Waiver, here we go.
Here it is. It's under the 61 law.
All right, are we gonna read this whole thing, or what's the deal here? The town of Wareham, on this blank day, you want me to read this?
No,
I move we waive our rights to the A&R lots.
is there a second to Mr.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Tropiano, seconded by Mr. Titlebaum. I think I'll ask for a roll call vote, please. Mr. Titlebaum?
Titlebaum, yes?
Whiteside, yes.
Tropiano, yes?
Scasiotti, yes.
Ellen, yes.
So it is unanimous that we will
That was easy.
waive our rights of the first refusal.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you all enjoy election evening.
Thank you. Have a nice evening. Thank you so much.
When it's over.
See you later, Tim.
Heck, that's a loaded boy.
Items B and C are no longer on the agenda. Review and possible vote on policy 207 is actually something where, in order to waive our rights, this question came up actually by Mr. Sullivan. Would you want to speak to it?
Yeah, well, that was just under the 61A. You've
Right.
got the, you've got where it's, you guys had updated it where it's 30 days for the different boards and committees that would have any interest to, whether they want to pursue that or give up any rights to it. And there's going to be, sometimes we have certain areas like the BDOD, the Business Development Overlay. And that was one of my thoughts was, you know, is that if we have areas like this or zoning in the future, we should consider whether we want to just waive those in the future to make it faster. So that's something for really a future thought on there, because when you create such an area that's specifically for business, a business development overlay, do we really want the town purchasing that land?
Yeah, I mean, we should have waived it outright when we built the
Right.
EDOT.
Well-
And maybe that's something we should do pretty soon.
Should it be part of the master plan?
It's part of the zoning.
I'm sorry?
You could do it as part of zoning. if you
Yeah,
want.
we got
Do
that
it, yeah.
zoning committee coming
Got
up.
that, yeah, zoning
Do
committee
it that
coming up.
way.
Yeah, when we start hearing how things take a long time and if there's
Yeah.
anything we can do to
Yeah,
Okay,
fix those. And I'm not saying that somebody's saying that, but I was saying
right.
overall with some of our zoning
yeah, because, I
process.
mean, we wouldn't want to, we
Right.
wouldn't want to own any of that. That's why we created the
Right,
zone.
exactly. Mr. Slavin?
When we did the last amendment, which I think I did all those back in 2014, that was done to clean it up, to tighten up the time frame, and to specify exactly which one of the groups would have any input. Because the problem is that there's quite a diverse amount of groups, but making them all respond within 30 days, because if something comes up before us and a committee meets, it could be 2 to 3 weeks, and that's why we did the 30 days, because it just doesn't give them enough window unless it's less than that.
Okay,
It's really not an issue, but
Yeah.
we can play around with it some more, but if you cut the time frame down, then you're not going to get a response from a committee in time as a rule.
right.
You might have a committee that has an actual use for the property. I don't think the town can afford to buy it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The change that you made, the actual changes that were already made were great. They, you know, it set a time, set a deadline, so it wasn't something that would just last forever, so. But something to think about when we create these sort of zoning areas.
excellent.
I think it was originally a check and balance to make sure that we didn't do anything dishonest.
I think that it was
Really?
too, yeah,
Then I won't propose anything to the alternative.
yeah. Okay. Any other business to come before us that was not reasonably anticipated for the agenda?
No.
No, okay. The minutes of September 13th and September 20th, please.
Move to approve
Second.
both sets of minutes. Was everybody here for them, so we can have one vote? We just check. Yep, we're all here for both.
Motion made by Titlebaum, seconded by Scasiotti to approve the minutes of September 13th and September 20th, 2016. All's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, and it's unanimous.
Awesome.
I will accept a motion.
Move to
Oh.
adjourn?
Do you want to speak?
Nah.
Thank you. Is there any other business to come before us? I will accept a motion.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn, second. All those
Second.
in favor, say aye. Good
Aye.
night, Wareham.
Good night.